Training camp for the Carolina Panthers is proving they finally have a core of young players that can make impacts each and every single day, from the rookies to players that are just fighting for that last spot on the 53-man roster. But the real question is, which of these players are making the biggest impact so far in camp? Obviously, the implications are so high right now. There's so many young players on this roster, from rookies all the way to year 3 players at every position, at every single battle, that are going to make or break that position in 2025, specifically the corner room, when you have guys like MJ Devonshire, Shamar Bartholomew, and Caleb Evans, who are young players trying to make that last spot count on the 53-man roster. And obviously guys like Hunter Renfrow, I'm not going to mention in this video, but veterans like that, we got to acknowledge and realize that there are new faces on this team, in the veterans that are making impacts, and everywhere on this roster. At every position, there's young players that need to tap into their potential and do their thing in 2025. So the first position or player I want to touch on in this video is the edge room. And I think y'all know who I'm going to go over in this video. He's been having a great first day of practices at training camp. That's Princely Umanmielen, 3rd round pick from this past draft in 2025. And I've been on high on Princely since forever now. As y'all know, if y'all were, tuning in with me months ago, when the draft process was around, I had him as my 5th rated edge rusher in the class, okay? Above Nick Scorin, above guys that you guys might had above him. 5th rated edge rusher in the class. I said he had a high ceiling when it came to getting after the quarterback, and he's proving it in the first 2 days of training camp. Obviously, day 1, the sack that he did have, Dave Canales did look back on the clip and say that he was trying to keep his hands off of him. I don't really care. A lot of people were overreacting about that, saying that, get your hands off my quarterback. It's football. I understand training camp first couple days, you cannot. It's limited physical activity. That's the point of it. You're trying to ramp up for the season before you actually put pads on in about a week and a half. He's a rookie. He's learning. People overreact in a lot of different ways to stuff like that. And then yesterday he had another sack. And I'm going to touch on the player that he was on up against here soon, Ikia. Heading into his 4th season as our left tackle, which is insane to think about. But I wanted to touch on Princely because, believe it or not, there is a battle here at the edge rusher position. I do think DJ Wanham will be a starter to start the season because he gives you continuity there. He was a very good pass rusher for us when he had to step in later in the year when he was healthy. He did say yesterday in an interview, he said, "My body feels good. I'm ready to go." So that's interesting to think about. At Minnesota, he was a very decent pass rusher. Came to Carolina, was a little injured last year, banged up. When he played later in the year, he was definitely our best pass rusher by far. Wasn't even close. And you can say, well, we really had nobody to get after the quarterback last year. Good point, but that's something to think about. And obviously, DJ Wanham obviously is not a young player. This kind of goes back into the young player argument when we're talking about who's going to make the roster, who's going to make the biggest impact, because one of Princely or Nick Scorin will start. Obviously, you have Pat Jones there. A lot of people think he might be able to start because you have 2 rookies and you don't want to put rookies in right away. But I think this staff thinks so highly of Nick Scorin in terms of his floor, and I think the staff thinks highly of Princely of his ceiling. So it's going to be interesting how we maneuver this, right? And obviously, Princely's been making more noise, I think, in training camp so far the first 2 days. Just a little bit, not too much with those 2 sacks. Going back on what I stated a couple days ago, that I think DJ Wanham will start week 1 at Jacksonville, will be one of the pass rushers. Him saying his body feels good, he's ready to go. I feel confident that he's going to give us at least 7 sacks this year, to be honest with you. And honestly, that might be a little high. You might think I might be tripping a little bit. But I think we need to get that pass rush from somewhere. Obviously, on the interior, we have Tershawn Wharton, who's going to do his thing on the middle, getting after the quarterback. That's what we're going to use him for primarily, is to get after the quarterback in the middle. The 2 rookies, believe it or not, if you think they have high floors or not, they're still rookies. They're not an Abdul Carter type. They're not a Jalen Walker type who just can come in and make havoc right away. They're going to need time to kind of translate their game to the NFL and figure out their game. Nick Scorin had to drop his weight. Okay, he has to get used to his body. Again, he was at that body type when he was at Purdue, but he still has to get used to it in the NFL. Princely, yes, I think his pass rush game is very good for a 3rd round pick coming into the NFL, obviously, but he's still translating to the NFL, as I'm going to keep stating that day by day as we head into training camp. But this is important because Princely and Nick Scorin, I think Nick has the edge right now because not only was he a 2nd round pick, but I think the staff really thinks he has a high floor in his body type, his ability to stop the run, which it seems like we really want to do this season. And we already have DJ Wanham, who I think is going to have a very good year when it comes to getting after the quarterback. We need him to be a good pass rusher this year because, again, start the season, these 2 rookies with Princely and Nick, they're going to struggle a little bit because they're translating their game. They're not going to come in and be this havoc pass rushers, if that makes sense. So that's my first position group is pass rushers. I want to mention them because obviously Princely, Nick Scoren have big implications. Who's going to start there? I will be shocked if Pat Jones and DJ Wanham are the two starting pass rushers to start the season because yes, Pat Jones had 7 sacks last year, but he was not very impactful. Like when you turn the film on, it just so 7 sacks were not impactful. And I'll be kind of shocked if he's really a starter next to DJ Wanham to start the season in 2025. So Princely, Nick Scoren, whoever makes the most plays might be the starter there next to DJ Wanham in week 1. Okay, let's kind of shift our focus to the offense side of the ball, the receiver battle. And what are the young players that are making impacts right now? Jalen Coker and Xavier Legette. Obviously, Xavier Legette's been a highly touted name in this fan base all offseason long. Everybody's excited about him for a good reason. Okay. But Jalen Coker right now, I think, is the third best receiver in this room over Xavier Legette. I think it's T-Mac, Adam Thielen, Coker, and then XL. It doesn't matter. My biggest point in this kind of point right here is I don't care who's better. I just want both of them to be good because that's better for this room. If we have T-Mac, Adam Thielen, Coker, and XL making impact week to week, that's going to make this offense even better and make this room even better. So this was a very important point to make. And out of all these, out of young players, because we're talking about young players right now, rookies or not, young players, both of these players are in year 2 and have a chance to continue to develop their game. Obviously, Xavier Legette has the body type, has the athleticism to be one of the better X receivers in this league in terms of just the physical tools, but he struggles to catch the ball last season. If he can figure that part of his game out, he's going to be a good receiver in the NFL. Jalen Coker, he's very good mentally. His body type, elite, very good slot receiver. A lot of people want to compare the two, like a slot is way worse than an X. If you do your job right, you do your job right. Just like Amon-Ra St. Brown is one of the best receivers in the NFL. What he does, he's a slot receiver, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't make him the 12th best receiver in the NFL because he's a slot receiver. Like, I don't care if you're a slot receiver, it does not diminish your impact. Jalen Coker last year was a better receiver than XL in the slot, but because he's in the slot and he's playing against weaker corners doesn't mean anything. My main point is I want both of these players to be good. I want both of them to tap into their potential because you're going to have a good problem to have. Who are you going to play? Because Adam Thielen is already your starting slot guy. You're going to have a struggle all season long to figure out who you're going to play week to week because this room is so good. Okay, and obviously Jimmy Horn as well. Jimmy Horn is so quick, man. You see it in the practice clip so far on day 1 and day 2. He's going to be a legit weapon for this team in 2025. If it's just special teams, if it's jet sweeps, quick game type stuff, his feet are so quick, right? He has like the quickest feet in this room. Whenever you just watch the clips in training camp again, he has the quickest feet really in this entire room. This room again is filled with a bunch of young players. You have T-Mac, of course, at the top. Obviously, I don't have to really say much about him. We all know how good he is so far in training camp. It's going to be that big body receiver for Bryce on the outside. But there's 4 young players that I just mentioned in this room that are going to have big implications on this offense in 2025. And if you can have both XL and Coker make an impact week to week, this room just gets even better. And if Jimmy Horn can figure out a way to make an impact in the limited reps that he does have, this room is going to be such a big, impactful part and piece of this team in 2025. Okay, let's shift back to the offensive line and the edge rusher talk of training camp so far. And I did mention earlier that Princely did get those 2 sacks, but he got them on Ike Ekwonu, obviously our 4th year left tackle. And this is a big year for Icky, man. I mean, he kind of talked about it, I think, in the presser yesterday after practice, that an extension, after he just had a bad day of practice, essentially. It's weird stuff like how the media team does it. I don't know if it was David Newton or not. I don't really care. But they asked him about an extension. He said he would love to be in Carolina. But I'm telling you, buddy, like you gotta start playing consistent. Okay, I don't want to see inconsistency week to week. One week you're good, the next week you're not. It seems like right now he's very good in the run game, right? Which is why the run game is going to be so good this year because your entire freaking 5 offensive linemen are so good in on the run. But Icky seems like very inconsistent in the pass game, week to week. Doesn't know how to maneuver that and just continue to get better at that part of his game. And when you're left tackle and you're that blind side, blocker for your quarterback, you need to be the anchor, essentially. Okay, because if you're not good week to week and you're very consistent, the offense will be inconsistent because you're not going to be able to get the passes you want downfield because your blind side at left tackle is not blocking correctly every single week. So Icky needs to find a way to tap in his potential, man. He has the talent. We drafted him 6th overall in 2022 for a reason, right? Like we didn't take him at 6 and the first left tackle off the board in that draft because he wasn't talented at NC State. We took him because he was super talented. He had the size, he had the body. He's very agile at left tackle coming out of college. But it seems like in the pass protection game, he's not there yet in year 4. And Camp's showing that again, man. It's just showing the inconsistency that he has. But hopefully this doesn't maneuver. Hopefully this doesn't trip him up. Okay, hopefully heading into the year, he finds a way to just clean it up a little bit more in training camp and preseason before we head into week 1, because we need him to be good and be that anchor to this offensive line in 2025. Okay, the final kind of topic I want to discuss about the young players is the secondary. Okay, and I've been kind of touched on this when I did my day 1 kind of recap. The secondary, the young players in the secondary are continuing to shine, man. You have guys like Damani Richardson, Shaw Smith-Wade. I mentioned Shaw as a guy that was interesting because he got there, first day of practice. He was there first. Yes, he was on a scooter. It's kind of easier to get there when you're going times 2 the speed of everybody else when they're walking. But he got there first. He has, the clips that you were seeing, his feet were very quick. It looked like he had the quickest feet out of all the corners there. His size in the slot is just going to be, he's just going to be a big, impactful player in 2025. And just implications are high for him because, again, as I mentioned, we have 3 corners right now. After that, everybody's fighting for a roster spot, meaning that the players are super young and they have not played in the NFL that long, with MJ Devonshire, Caleb Evans, and Shamar Bartholomew. You're 3 corners deep, and Shaw's in his 2nd year. Last year, he did very decent when he got time, obviously, when he had to come out there and play because of injuries in the slot. He needs to be good in 2025, and I think so far in training camp, I like what I'm seeing from Shaw. Nothing crazy, obviously. I want to see more, actual 7-on-7 reps from him. Really, when we get to, pads in a week or so. But Shaw's a big time factor when it comes to this corner room coming together, because there's no depth right now. If he's not good, you're stuck with JC, a top 5 corner in the NFL, and you're stuck with Mike Jackson, who's going to be inconsistent. One week is going to be good, the next he won't be. You're just going to be stuck there in the corner room if Shaw does not tap into his potential. And then, of course, Damani Richardson, Ivanhoe, Damani, all of season long, I think he's going to have a great year. He's proven it again to me. His ball skills are elite. Okay, and I know that pick he had, the pick he had in day 1 of training camp, a lot of people are saying, well, I mean, any receiver can make that catch. No, I would actually argue that half of the receivers in this room could not make that catch that he made. He has insane ball skills. He's so elite at eyeing the ball. And he proved it last year, too, with the pick that he did have, that one pick he had. I mean, he's going to be so impactful. Again, implications. That's kind of what this video is all about, is the implication that the young players have at every position are going to make or break this season in 2025. And Damani Richardson is going to be one of those players because we have Trayvon Moehrig. He's going to be there to stop the run, get after the quarterback, be in the box, play that type of role. And then you have Damani right there, who needs to tap in his potential that he clearly has. Okay, and also I want to touch on Lathan Ransom because I've seen kind of a proposition that maybe he plays in the box like Jeremy Chin type player this year. And you have Damani or you have Trayvon Moore kind of be very versatile, do everything. But Lathan gets those reps in the box and just get after the quarterback. I like that idea. I think you have the ability, he has the athleticism, he has everything physically to be in the box and stop the run. Right? That's how we drafted him, I think, is to be that in the box type linebacker. Now you don't have a linebacker, you can use him there. You can literally use him in the box as a player that could really play that kind of hybrid linebacker role. And I actually would not mind that at all from this team if Dave Canales decides to do that week to week. Is Lathan Ransom, you're getting time, we're going to put you in the box because you can stop the run, you can get after the quarterback, you're the most physically gifted player in the safety room, and we have no linebacker. So we're going to put you there to kind of get after the quarterback here on some 3rd and shorts, stop the run on some 3rd and shorts. And I would actually love if we did that, but I don't know if we will. We'll kind of see and wait, see how we use him in preseason a little bit, see if we use him solely as strong safety or we move him in the box a little bit. I'm going to be watching out for that as well. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, turn on post notifications because I'm doing this all camp long, man. Dropping videos, dropping recaps. I did day 1 recap yesterday. I didn't. It sucks having no fans. It's hard to really break down stuff when you only have a handful of clips to use. But camp's been fun so far. I'm excited where this team's headed. There's a lot of very good young players. We're on the road to 1K. I want to hit 1K here soon, hopefully before the season ends in about December. So if you guys can, subscribe for me. And with that being said, I'll see you guys next video. Peace.